Hey guys, Teacher Amber here. So now you're hired. You are ready to start teaching classes. It is time to open up your time slots. But you might be wondering, what do I even start? How do I even decide what time slots to open up? So I have some information for you, some tips to think about. I hope that you find it helpful as you're thinking about what time slots should you open up. So a couple things to keep in mind. There are peak hours. So they'll be labeled on your screen as hot or I can't remember what the other one is, but very hot. Those are peak times, the busiest time, great time to do that. Also, Friday nights, Saturday nights, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, and then all the mornings during the week. Evening weekday classes, except for Friday. Typically, I haven't found that they get booked unless it's over summer break or during a holiday like Chinese New Year. So keep that in mind. Also, know that slots can be booked up until 24 hours in advance. So if you have a slot that's open, somebody can book it once it hits to 20 hours before, then nobody can book that unless you click the tag on it that says short notice. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. Keep in mind that classes are 25 minutes. They need to be at least 25 minutes and they can go as up to 28 minutes. So then if you go up to 28 minutes, you have 2 minutes between classes. There's a little button on your class that will pop up 2 minutes before class is over that says go to your next class. So you can click on that, go directly into your next class, which makes that easy. So with that, just think about your pacing. So also be thinking about what times are you willing to teach? What do you want to teach? What would your ideal schedule be? And I would suggest to open the slots for what you want the times that you want your ideal schedule to be, because also another thing that is good is consistency. If you're not consistent, it doesn't, it's not to say that you won't get booked. I've had to work around my husband's schedule and have had to be not very consistent at on my days throughout the week. So that's where I get booked, but I don't have a lot of regulars. Whereas I've been very consistent on the weekend and that's where I have most of my regulars. And just keep in mind that nothing is set in stone. I thought that 4 a.m. would be a great time for me to start. It turned out it did not work for me at all. Might work for you, didn't work for me. And so I only did that for a short period of time and then changed my schedule from there. There is no minimum amount that you have to open up. I think that the recommended when you're first starting out and trying to get bookings is to have at least 7 to 8 hours worth opened. There are cancellations, so parents can cancel up until the 24-hour mark. And if they do cancel, it'll just fall off your screen. So if you see, oh, I got booked and it's 3 days out, then the next day you might see, oh, it's not there anymore. Something might have come up, they might have canceled, just like we have going on here. Also, but if they do cancel in less than 24 hours, the class finishes, you still get paid. Woohoo! Keep in mind, thinking about teaching back to back. Do you want to start that right away? Do you want to start with 2 or 3? Think about the energy your energy during your mock. How did that feel? Was it exhausting and you needed a little break after between? Were you ready to go some more? Are you Can you get all of your stuff organized and have a way to organize props and everything so that you can grab props for each class that you have back to back, a way to take notes so that you can jot down some things to leave feedback afterwards. Those are things to think about as you are going through. And then I mentioned earlier, you can set 24, or they're called short notice bookings. And so if you do set it for a 24-hour short notice, think about they can book up to an hour in advance so that if you have a 5 o'clock a.m. opened, they can book at 4 o'clock a.m. So are you willing to get up and see that they've booked or not? They may or may not have booked. Would you want to do that in an early morning? Would you be okay with doing that on a Friday or Saturday night? I don't know. You have to answer that for yourselves for sure. And then the biggest tip that I have for you when once you start opening your bookings is be patient. So once you could get a booking on day 1. It could be day 60. It could be shorter. It could be longer. You just never know. But once you start getting bookings, there could be an ebb and flow before it starts getting consistent. And what I found now, I is that it does get consistent. I have 100% of my bookings filled up. Several of them are regulars. Several of them are new students. So it just is different for everybody. Something that I want to leave with you is a quote mentioned in my yoga class that I felt helpful. The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. So this takes time to grow, but it will. We all started at zero. All of us, zero everything. But it is totally worth it. You can be your own boss. You can set your own schedule. You won't have people coming into your classroom with a checklist to see if you're doing everything on the checklist. You get to teach and grow and improve at a pace that works for you without all of the pressure. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, comment below or email me. And if you are going through the hiring process or haven't applied yet, I'd be happy to be your coach if you need one. Check the notes below for more information about that, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.